What's happening, peoples? Welcome to the Armchair Pundits Arsenal post-match review show, powered by me, Bevan, and we're just going to get straight into it. So it was Arsenal 1, Brentford 1, or Brentford 1, Arsenal 1. I suppose they were the home team, and they looked like it. I mean, in that first half, Arsenal just weren't at it, and it shows. I mean, we had one shot on target, not even on target, we had one shot on goal, and it was Brentford that had the Raya having to make a save. Raya had to work hard, even though it was from his own mistake, rolling the ball out to Brentford. I get that he's trying to get it on a break, but he just lost concentration. So they whipped the ball into the box. Igor Thiago gets his head on it, but Raya makes a great save. And in that first half, you could see that Brentford were going to be physical in their approach when it comes to corners and throw-ins and free kicks in and around the box, which they're in their right to do, and which Arsenal have done to other teams throughout this season. So can't really complain about it. Ref was letting a lot go, but a lot was getting let go in both boxes. But you could see that they were trying to jostle, they were trying to hustle, and they were trying to make Arsenal feel uncomfortable, and that's what kind of happened. So we go in at half-time 0-0, not looking very convincing. I think there could have been some better first half performances from Eze. He could have got in the game, and I think he could have got in the game better. And I think that's why he gets substituted at half time. And I think that sometimes some of the decision making by Madueke could be a bit better as well. But I don't want to just single players out or just make scapegoats of them, because that's what a lot of people are going to say. But I still got to call it as I see it. And in the second half, we bring on Odegaard, and we do look better I'd say, for about 15 minutes. We look like we're popping the ball about. We're looking like we're pinning Brentford back into their own half, and it looks like a goal is going to come, and it does. There's a cross comes in from Nkapie, and Madueke gets a header, puts it into the far corner. Kelleher slips, so it looks like the ball's going in slow motion, but he just couldn't get there. But then after Brentford go 1-0 down, they look like they're going to attack. They look a lot better. And before they get their goal, Lewis-Potter has a chance of a header that he just misses. We have a chance to make it 2-0, where Declan Rice is in the box and he passes it to Gyökeres, but Brentford are able to make a clearance, and you just think, could Rice have had a shot instead of making that pass? But, this is football. Sometimes it's just going to be fine margins. And on this day, it didn't work out. On another day, that's 2-0, and then you're looking a little bit more comfy. But then Brentford go down the other end. They get a throw in. Long ball comes in. Vandenberg gets the ball, flicks it on from the long throw, and Lewis-Potter gets there in front of Odegaard and scores. And from that point, Odegaard goes a bit quiet. He's not having the same impact in the game that he was having before, like in the first 15 minutes when he came on. He's kind of just gone back to how we've seen Odegaard in previous matches. I don't know what happened. It seemed that he was claiming that he got injured or hurt during the goal, but I mean, I'm not going to make excuses for that. So after that point, really, after their goal, it looks like Brentford are more likely to be the ones that are going to take the game on. They're likely to be the ones that are going to score a goal, because as we start to attack, there's gaps left in behind, and Brentford are finding spaces within those gaps. Igor Thiago gets played in, and he's kind of one-on-one with David Raya, and you think, is he going to score? You based on his form this season, you think he's going to score, and that's going to be 2-1, and then that's a disastrous moment in the game, or a disastrous game to be having. It's not good, really. But no, the scorer makes a great tackle, kind of Saliba-esque, and kind of saves our blushes. We then get a chance to make it 2-1 ourselves. Somehow it's Timber running through on goal, and he slides a ball into Martinelli, but as he's getting there, Kelleher's closed the angle, so he makes a good save. maybe if the pass was a little bit better, then Martinelli scores, but I could just be nitpicking here. And then Brentford have another chance. They go down the other end, and Thiago again, he's through on goal, and he lashes it, a lot of power. And I said, based on his form this season, with the amount of goals he's scored, you'd expect him to score. But he doesn't. And, I mean, that would have made it 2-1, and that's at the death. And if they score at that point, if they score at that time, then I don't think we make it back into the game. I don't think that we are able to rescue a point. Now, on the balance of play, and you look at that game and you think to yourself, we go 1-0 up, so is that 2 points dropped? But looking at the performance and how we played, it could be argued that that was actually a point gained, because we weren't good, really. We were poor in the first half. In the second half, we get a goal, and then it's Brentford that look like they're the most likely to win that game. And you start to think, after the weekend that we've had, we go 9 points clear, and then we are now 4 points clear. So there's been a 5-point swing, and it's not in our favour. But I think the only positive that you can take from that game is that we didn't necessarily play well. And even though we didn't play well, we didn't lose that game. We came away with a battling point away from home. And I know that at this point in the season, at this time of the season, you need to be taking 3 points. You need to be taking as many wins as you can. But we've got 12 games left, and we play Wolves next week after our FA Cup game. I'm sure that in that FA Cup games we're playing Wigan, so there's going to be players that are going to be rested. But then we go to play Wolves away, and we need to get back to winning ways. We need to pick up the momentum. You're not going to get too carried away about this loss. Yeah, Man City have had 2 wins on the bounce, and they've turned it around. But all we can do is focus on ourselves and focus on our games and just keep moving forward. Can't allow things to get too negative. At the same time as well, the level of performance needs to be raised a bit as well. I know that when we're playing against teams, you don't want to get caught on a break and stuff like that. But if you're not going to take some calculated or measured risks, or you're not going to put your best foot forward, then it's going to be difficult to win games. So that's what we need to take away from this game. Yeah, Brentford are at home. They're a tough side to beat at home. There's not many teams that have gone there in the top 6 that have won there this season, and they have put a lot of teams to the sword. But we've got to dust ourselves down, move on to the next game, not let this one get into our heads, not think about it too much. And as I said, it's better that we take a point than to take a loss, because if we had taken a loss and 3 points behind, to be 3 points ahead of City, then we start to put pressure on ourselves rather than having that kind of that buffer and that gap where you can start playing free flowing football. And there is going to be pressure, because we're trying to go for this league. We've had 3 seasons in a row where we finished second, and we don't really want that. But we need to really regroup and think that we are a good side and we can kick on. And that's what we need to do. And sometimes in certain instances, just be a little bit braver. It's the bravery that's going to get us through, and that's what we're going to need, because other teams are not going to give. They're not going to give us this league. If we want the league, and then we're going to have to go and take it. And that's all there is really to it. So yeah, it was disappointing today because of the performance, but to come away with a point, you want 3, but you come away with a point in a game that really you could have lost. So you take it. And yeah, just before I go, just please, if you've made it this far, hit the like button, hit the share button, comment, tell me how you saw the game, and subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram, on Twitter or X, and on TikTok. So yeah, I've been Bevan. This is the Pundits Arsenal Review Show, and I'll see you later.